to add a quiz after you have questions bank and you haven't seen yet how to create a questions bank, you can check the tutorial first in the description box below. And if you already have the questions bank, you can click add an activity or resource. Before that, make sure that you have clicked the turn editing on button on the upper right, and then click add an activity or resource. So what if you do not want to set the questions bank first? That's also totally fine, but it is recommended to you to have questions bank first because it will help you to be more efficient in managing your courses. But if you do not want to set the questions bank first, that's also totally fine. And then you can click quiz. So for example, I want to have mid-exam quiz, and you can put the descriptions here, like all the instructions that you want to set for your students. And then you can set the timing as well. You can set whether you want to set the time for the open and close, and if you do not want to, that's also totally fine. But if you want to set this like a mid-exam, usually you will set the time limitations for that. And here you can see the time limit as well. So you can see that my quiz has to be done in 30 minutes, but if I want to give like a spare time for students, sometimes maybe they need to check the internet connections and things like that, you can also set a longer time for the open and close the quiz, but you can set the time limit here to be, for example, 30 minutes. So by doing this, in between 10 to 11 a.m., they can do the quiz. But once they start the quiz, the countdown timer will start. And after 30 minutes, they will have to submit their quizzes, or the system will submit their quizzes automatically here. So for example, if one of your students start doing the quiz at 10:05 a.m., so the maximum time for them to submit their quiz will be 10:35 a.m. And here you also can set the other options, but those are optionals. And then you can just click save and display if you want to set it as it is by default. And here you can see that what you just do is like setting all the environment for the quiz, like the descriptions, like the time limit, and you still do not add any questions there. So if you want to add the questions, you can click edit quiz here, and then you can click add here. And as I mentioned before, if you already have the questions bank, it is very easy for you. You can just click the from questions bank here, or add random questions from your questions bank. But if you haven't created your questions bank yet, you can click add a new questions. Case. And if you already have your questions bank, it is very easy for you. You can just click from questions bank here, and then you can add whatever that you want to add. You can also select all if you want to, but if you only want to choose some of the questions, you can also click like this and then just add selected questions to the quiz. And the very interesting thing is you can also add a random questions here, and I will share how to use it in the other tutorial in the description box. And if you've already done all of this, it is very easy for you to see the quizzes here. So for example, you've done all the questions here, and after your students already see that, you will then see the number of attempts here, but because it's a very new one, you still do not see that. But when your students have submitted their answers, you will see the number of attempts here, and you will see the result of their answers. And if you want to see the preview, you can also do that here, and then click start attempt. And then this is the preview that your students will see. And this is the example of the result, and once your students has already submitted their answers, you can see there will be a table here that will show their grades here.